Good morning from Tamworth railway station, where I have just disembarked from my train, about to board the vintage bus service to the Statfold Barn Railway for the new incarnation of what used to be the Warley National Railway Model Exhibition, now Warley at Statfold. So I've just arrived at the Statfold Barn Railway after catching the vintage shuttle bus from Tamworth. Bit of a difficult station to find your way out of, I might add. But we're here, lots of trains to see, narrow gauge railway to ride. Let's get going. The Roundhouse Museum at the entrance to the Statfold Barn Railway offered but little space for the single model railway and a couple of stores scattered around in between the various full-size narrow-gauge locomotives. However, the first major exhibition hall just behind that offered a lot more space, and some of the most interesting layouts on display at the exhibition were to be found in this hall, where I would spend much of the morning. From models that explore the possibilities of what if, like the model of the Portishead traction management depot, to models reflecting historical realities, like that of Brunel's atmospheric railway, there really was a truly incredible variety of models to be seen in this hall. Sometimes the electrics on these models don't always work so well, and one can struggle to get much photography and footage of the moving trains, like on the 00 scale model of Seaford Prominade. conveniently located near the stairwell to the mezzanine balcony, was a familiar sight from Model World Live earlier in the year. Dagnell End, set in London in the 1960s, showcasing not just the British rail scene, but also the London Underground, through a little station just below the ground level on the layout. It's not just models we've come to see on this exhibition. There's a full-size narrow gauge
genuinely
railway
believe
to enjoy.
I would never have thought that I'd be sitting here eating lunch in the outside in October. But here we are. My camera's had a battery replacement and I've had a good lunch, and it's time now to have a look for some of the other buildings. So as you will have seen from some of the video footage I've already taken this morning, there really is an interesting atmosphere here, as the models are all located around the museum exhibits of the Statfold Barn Railway. But of course the great thing about this place is that we have the real narrow gauge railway to have a little trip around and see as well. And I'm just taking a walk along the narrow gauge railway line here, and it's quite fantastic really that you can actually have a good walk along the line and see the trains passing by. I'm not entirely sure if I'm heading in the right direction to see any of the other models, but I did see the one key exhibit that I'd actually come to see, which was Brunel's atmospheric railway. Just crossing the railway line here. I might end up doing a train ride before I do any more model photography, but Who gives? So, obviously I have failed to plan and failed to study the guidebook properly, which I bought for £2. But I'm at the end of the line, so it definitely looks like a time for a train ride, and time to work out where I want to go and how I'm actually supposed to get there. I'm not sorry I took a casual stroll around though, it's actually been quite fun, but I am here to see some model railways. There really aren't many places in the world where you can see a train coming into a station between two platforms, one track between two platforms, and this is one of them. Feels like quite a lot bigger station than what you'd expect for a 2-foot gauge, narrow gauge railway.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't noticed they have gone. So they were all. There's still a few there. I think most of those that have gone over to the other side, so I think that's the key. Yeah, the standard gauge comes, you can just see the end of it through there.
After some searching for the remaining 2 exhibition halls, I finally found them with some difficulty. Many of the layouts featured in these halls focused much more on local railway history and the localized scenes of different stations and rural yards. Perhaps one of the most interesting models on display here was Bond Lane, with a combination of narrow gauge and standard gauge running. Rather than a fixed back scene, this model featured an electric screen showing scenes of the sky as it changed during the day, from morning till dusk and a stormy night. I would have filmed it all, except for the fact that I then discovered that I'd misplaced my gimbal mounted camera. I did ultimately get it back, and I was later to see this same model at the National Festival of Railway Modelling just a month or so later. Past and present, potential, possibility, and reality in Britain, on the continent, and even in North America. This was an exhibition with an incredible variety of models on display, which left me with an awful lot of footage covering lots of different stories to be captured and told. As the time came for me, sadly, to have to leave it all and board the last bus into Tamworth to eventually catch my train.